Okay, welcome back everybody. So today we're going to be talking about food, okay? Last time we talked a little bit, we scratched the surface on water. So today we're going to scratch the surface on food. No. Sorry, Riley's in the background. So anyway, food, right? So when you go into the grocery store, most you guys most of the time buy vegetables and things like that from like Walmart, Sam's Club, other places like that. Now, those are all big corporations, right? So, any food product, and I'm just going to stick with vegetables for right now. We'll do meats and other things like that later. So, we'll stick with vegetables and fruits and berries. Now, all in one category, okay? So, when you go into a store and you purchase that, it looks fresh, right? It looks fresh. Now, there will be, when you go in, there will be just your normal stuff. Then there'll be organic, and then there will be, it will say farm raised. But realistically, if you're purchasing any food from Walmart, Sam's Club, or any big corporation like that, it's all lies. It's fake. Okay, so if you go to a small farmer's market, right, that is gonna be not real, but is better than a corporation, because a corporation's food is all imported. It doesn't matter what they say. If it's a very large corporation, the chance of them actually going to a local farm and buying out what they have and then reselling it in their stores is very, very low. So when they import goods, let's take a beet, right? A beet or a potato is one of the most. We'll take a potato because that's like the most common thing people buy is potatoes. So, in the field, they plant the potato in the field. From the field, it goes through a factory, and that factory sprays it with all kinds of preservatives and all kinds of other stuff, and pesticides as well. I know a lot of people don't think of that, don't realize that they actually do spray that with pesticides because of any bugs within the harvest that is still on the potatoes. So after this process, they load it into a truck or they package it, and then it ships over sea or over long portions of land to come to our Walmarts and our Sam's Clubs and places like that. So taking that all in consideration, so by the time the potato comes from the farm to the big corporation and then to you and onto your plate, you got to realize all of the processes and all the chemicals and everything like that is on that potato. So after all of that, and even organic, it says organic in the store, but your product, your potato, still goes through that process. It may say it doesn't, or it may say it's organic, or yada yada yada, and there may be people out there that don't agree with me, but it's not true. You can go, and if you have the money and the clearance, you can actually go to these factories and see this happening. And there's actually a show that there's a guy with money and the clearance that has the same thought process as I do, and he's doing it. It's on Netflix. Just about everybody has Netflix. You go to Netflix, and it's down to earth, and he goes to places like this to see these things because it is real. And the United States is so far behind in a lot of this. But back to potatoes. So after this potatoes have went through all this process, right? And then when you're eating it, I can guarantee you, if you take a natural, real grown potato, no additives, no pesticides, none of that, and you eat it, and then you eat a potato that's come from Walmart that has gone through the process, has preservatives on it and all that other stuff. And if you wash it, you may think, well, I just wash it and it's all gone. It's all better. No, that's not the way it works. It's like, I'll use a car for example, right? You go to wash your car and you put wax on your car, right? And that wax stays on. You can't just wash it off again. Or you can, but there's still going to be wax on that car. You're not going to get all the wax off. So that's basically the best thing I could compare it to. And you'll notice the huge difference when you eat a fresh organic potato compared to a potato bought from Walmart or Sam's Club or any other big corporation, you will notice a huge difference. So, and you can go out to like a farmer's market and still, because a farmer's market, most of your local farms, unless they will tell you, like literally tell you face to face that they don't use any pesticides or any GMO, unnatural concentrate fertilizers, then it's not organic. So that's what we're dealing with, and I'm trying to tell you guys about this. I'm trying to educate as many people as I can about this, because pesticides, well, they're poison, right? They're pesticides. They kill insects. So there's a better way and a smarter way to deal with these, insects and things that the gardeners have issues with. And it also goes into water supply, and there's tons of bad things like that. I'll talk about pesticides in a different video. But let's go back to the potato that you're eating every day, every time you go grocery shopping, right? So I recommend definitely, instead of going to Walmart to get your vegetables, berries, fruits, and everything like that, seek out these farm stands, these local farm stands in your area. And there is. If you live, let's say, a city like Miami, Florida, right? You live in there is going to be a farm stand somewhere in there. You just got to look for it, because there's always gardeners, there's always farm stands, there's always people like me that have small gardens, and they're trying to sell their produce to make money, to make more produce, because they understand that what Walmart, Sam's Club, and other places like that are selling you isn't real. It's fake. It's bad for you. It's not healthy. It's actually slowly killing you, because you're eating chemicals. And the more people that can understand that, the better. So yeah, that's what you should do. And you can start anytime. It doesn't matter. And the cost is actually way better. Okay, so like here, I'm in Florida, so I can go to Walmart and buy like a potato for 50 cents. I'm not being 100%, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty close. So you go to Walmart, buy a red potato, 50 cents, just one potato. Okay, and then I can go to a farmer's market and buy one red potato for 25 cents and know that potato hasn't been dipped in a bunch of preservatives and all pesticides and all kinds of other stuff. I'd rather choose the potato that hasn't been dipped in poison compared to the one that has. And I'm trying to think, another question that you guys might be having is, well, how do you know? Because you can go into Walmart, I can go into Walmart right now, and you can walk over to the potatoes, and they'll be organic and not organic. So the question probably you're thinking about is, well, if this says organic, then it's organic. But that's not true. If you actually look at the label, now, I think they legally have to have it on there. I'm not 100% on that. But if you look on the label, sometimes some produce will actually tell you where it's from and how it was grown. What I mean by that is like which farm grew it, and you can look up that farm to see if they're pesticide free or GMO free, or you can look that up if you want. But if you look on the tag, like if you buy, potatoes should have it. Like if you buy a big bag of potatoes, it should have a tag on it, and you look right on there, it's going to be fine print. It's going to be so tiny, you might even need a magnifying glass to see it. It's because they don't want you to know this. They don't want you to know this stuff. So if you go down, it should be on the bottom or even on the back, and it will say where it came from, exactly where it's imported, and then who grew it, or like where it came from, like a company, like the process that I'm telling you about that goes through where it gets sprayed with chemicals and preservatives and all that stuff so it can be shipped. That company should be right there too. If not, then it will list the farm where it originally came from, where it was grown. Now, that goes for all your products, not just potatoes. Like, it goes for everything. Even your meats, your canned goods, everything is like that. Because it all has to be shipped, unless it's locally produced. And more often than not, your local state or even city will export their goods instead of giving it to the people that live in the state and then import other goods. It's very weird. It doesn't make any sense, but most of the time that's what I see, because I usually go in stores and check and make sure, not all the time, but most of the time. So, but when you're grocery shopping, that's one of the things you can start looking at, to see where your food actually came from. Now, I got bananas a couple days ago or something like that anyway, but I looked at the tag to look for it because I was curious to see where it came from. I got them at Walmart. Probably not a good idea, but I got them from Walmart, and way down on the bottom I had to use my phone to zoom in to be able to see it, and it said from Wisconsin. Now I'm in Florida, so Wisconsin's a few states away or something like that. I think it's a few states, but still, how did those bananas get from Wisconsin to me? Remember, these are being put in a truck with no air conditioning, just being put in a truck and drove here. So, it's summer. It's like, it's March? I think it's March. It's March or something. I don't really know. I don't keep track of that stuff. Anyway, so it's pretty hot out. And let's just take into consideration when this banana truck gets into Florida. Your average temperature today in Florida is like 78 to 86 degrees out. That's pretty hot for a banana to be stuck in a metal box. You know what I mean? Like an 18-wheeler, pretty much a metal box. It has no AC in it. Some units do, but not very often. And if they do have ACs, when's the last time they've been maintained? You really think, corporations check that stuff all the time? It costs them a ton of money if something breaks. So why not just check them? They don't check them that much. So, and I know that because one of my old friends used to be a trucker. So, and you can, it's just common sense. You look at a truck and it's all beat up. You really think that works? But it doesn't matter. What do they have to spray onto that produce to get it to you so you can eat it and it's good, right? Nobody's going to buy a brown, mushy banana or a rotten, moldy potato, right? So you got to think that potato, right? Say the potato came from Ohio, right? And you live in Florida, Miami, Florida, right? And it has to travel all that distance to get to you. But when it gets to you, it's a perfect potato. It's red, no issues, no mold, no nothing on it, right? Does that make sense? How can it travel that long of a distance in a steel box, even if it has AC? Let's say it has AC, right? So that's a long period of time. It's going to take a few days. And even if they fly it in or go by boat, well, boat's similar to truck, but let's say they fly it in, right? There's still a couple days, few days. Potatoes are pretty hardy. They last a long time. However, moisture. You got to take into consideration moisture. Your average potato will start growing within 2 days after, because by the time the farmer harvests, okay, so some people, you don't know this, by the time you guys harvest potatoes, right, you go out in your garden, you harvest potatoes. If you put that potato in a dark place or a humid place, it will actually start growing immediately. Now, you won't see it. Like, if you pick up a potato, you won't see it start to grow. But it does, immediately. As soon as it comes out of the ground, goes into the truck for processing, it's starting to grow. It's releasing spores, and it's going to start to grow. So, in that flight, right, that potato is releasing moisture because it's growing. Why doesn't it have mold on it? Why isn't it creating mold? Sometimes it does. But if that potato has pesticides and preservatives on it, then the mold that starts to grow is going to die, right? It's poison. It has poison on it. And then you're going to the store and then you purchase it, you cook it, and you eat it. And it doesn't matter how much you cook it. If you cook it until it's black, it's still going to have poison on it or in it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much you wash it or anything. The best thing you can do for your health and for your kids' is to start supporting as much as possible, supporting local farmers, and even starting a garden yourself. And there's tons of ways to do that. Okay, I would talk about that in a different video. But there's tons of ways you can grow your own food in your house. It doesn't matter where you live. If you're out in the boonies country or in Miami, Florida, living in a skyscraper, it doesn't matter where you are. As long as there's 3 things: sunlight, nutrients, and water. You can grow food. You can grow anything. You can grow a fruit tree if you want. Doesn't matter. But I'll talk about that in another video. So please stay tuned and start paying attention to what you put in your body. Thank you. Have a great day.